to kind of go in and I want to talk about this even deeper, because as soon as Moses is being called to purpose, God begins to call out to let him know what he has that he does not understand that he has. It is so interesting how we can walk around life. We can walk throughout life. We can walk year after year feeling empty because we are looking for something that we always had within ourselves, looking to find something that was always in our own hands, looking to be something that we always was able to be, looking to try to figure something out, chasing something. Moses, this is an essence of us letting us know that whatever we're trying to be, whatever we think that we need, that God has been able to hide it some type of way in seed form, and he has hid it in my hand. Now, I want to go back here in Exodus chapter 4, verse 1. Moses answered and said, behold, they will not believe me nor hearken my voice. When Moses is talking about them not believing him, he's really talking about himself. Sometimes what we see others are doing and what we begin to perceive that others are is only a reflection of what we are doing. It's very important. It's very important. It is very important. And really, you will not be able to have this type of maturity until you're able to reflect and as the watcher and you watch your thoughts and you watch your feelings. You can, there's moments, and the Bible talks about this, and I believe that you do this as you begin to meditate upon the Word. When we meditate upon the Word, what that really means is that you meditate on the Word to the point that you lose any type of personality that has been limiting your perspective of the Word. Now, there's several things here that I want you to begin to understand here. Because of the rejection and because of the hurt that Moses is going through, there is a hurt that happens because he never really meets his mother. He doesn't know why his mother rejects him. He doesn't really understand the full story, but all he knows is that his mother did not want him. And now there's a rejection that's beginning to take place, and this rejection is now taking place with something that takes place in Egypt. He tries to help his people, and he gets rejected. Now, not only is he being rejected from Egyptians, but now the Hebrews are rejecting him, and they're saying, we didn't ask you to help us. We didn't tell you to kill anybody. And now there's rejection on all parts. There's all types of rejection that is causing him to be isolated him. And it's very interesting that God uses rejection in our life to isolate us, because many times he can only begin to get the message to us when we are isolated. There are several people on the line here tonight that you have been in situations that have isolated you. Some of the things that have recently taken place in your life. Y'all don't want to be real with me tonight. But some of the stuff that really took place in your life, some of the things that you're going through, some of the stuff that's going on, some of the things that you witnessed, some of the things that you're going on with your family, some of the stuff that got back to you, some of the stuff that you're dealing with. When if people really knew what was going on, it has isolated you. Moses is in a situation where he has been isolated, and he has been isolated for years. He has been isolated in years. He has been isolated in years because he did not understand. He did not understand purpose. He did not understand purpose. He had passion, but he did not direct passion and purpose. And when passion is not directed in purpose, it becomes anger. And so he lashes out and he begins to kill. He begins to kill something that he's connected to because of something that he's kin to. And he's going through an emotional roller coaster, fighting with what he's connected to and fighting with what he's related to. I don't know who on this line has been dealing with the fight of who you were and who you are. And every so often, who you used to be tries to creep back up. And who you are tries to show back up. I don't know if anyone is dealing with this, but Moses is in this situation. He is isolated. He is running from one thing only to find another thing. He's running away from his history only to find his destiny. And somewhere in the pain of his history, there is a passion that is sparked for his destiny. I don't know why I'm saying this tonight, because there's someone that's on the line here tonight that over the last couple of years, over the last couple of stuff, when you look back at some of the things that family members did to you, that loved ones did to you, that people that you supported, people that you were there for, if you look back and see some of the pain, it makes you run away from it. God is now coming in a burning bush to give him a message that there is some unfinished business, that somewhere in history there is destiny. I feel something right now. He says they won't believe me. When he's talking about how they begin to perceive him, we are here and we are able to acknowledge that we are learning a personality trait. Now, I want you to understand this, because people do not understand this, but personality has to do with personal reality. Oh, y'all don't want to work with prophet tonight, but I'm going to break this down for the one partner that's listening to me. We're beginning to hear a personality trait. We are seeing not only a pessimistic type of viewpoint, a pathology of thought that Moses begins to have, but we are also looking and we are also seeing how much he doubts himself. And this is coming from his experience. We are seeing the same anxiety being rebirthed that took place 40 years ago when he killed the Egyptian and they did not believe him. Now, he killed the Egyptian for something that he saw the Egyptian was doing that was wrong. But the reason why he ran for his life was because he felt like they would not believe him. And so now he's in a situation because he does not feel like they will believe him. And now we are seeing his personality being shaped from this rejection. This rejection of feeling not being accepted. They not believing me is another form of saying that they will never accept me. You would be surprised of people that hinder themselves and throw themselves in the box, and they limit themselves because of their perception, their personal reality of their perception about people not accepting them, people not liking them, people not wanting to be around them. You would be surprised how many great anointed people, how many great called people, how many great gifted people that are on the line, that although you're gifted, although you're anointed, ever so often you are concerned about them not being able to accept you because you remember what happened last time, and you remember what took place last time, and you remember when you did something right for someone else and it backfired, and you remember when you were there for someone else and it backfired, and you remember when you were loyal to someone and it backfired. You remember, shut up! We are noticing something here. He's saying that they will not believe him. They will not accept him. And when he says that they will not accept him, he is in essence saying that he does not accept himself. Somewhere in this, the rejection in his reality is coming from a personal reality of rejection that was going on in her battle. And it begins to come up in the conversation that God begins to have with him. Exodus chapter 4, verse 2. And the Lord said unto him, what is in your hand? And he said, a rod. Now, when God is asking him what is in his hand, God knows what is in his hand. He is not asking him this in a way because because he does not know what is in Moses' hand. He is asking Moses this in a way so Moses can be introspective. When God begins to speak to you, he will always make you look within. This is one of the ways how you'll know it's God. If you ever want to know if it's the Holy Spirit or the devil, I'll tell you, someone asks me this, and I get this question all the time. Prophet, how do you know when it's God? 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 And you know when it's God because anytime it is God, God is always going to talk to you about something that you got. He's always going to talk to you about something that you got. Believe you me, when God is talking to you or he's sending a message to you, he is always going to talk to you about something you got. It's always going to be about something you got, some type of talent, some type of resource, some type of talent, some type of ability. He's always going to talk to you about something that you got. It might not be shiny. It might not be a lot. It might not look all nice. It might not be all sprinkly. It might not be able to look and move like the others, but it's always going to be about something you got. He says, what is it that you got in your hands? He's telling him this because he's trying to make him look within himself. His personality is causing him to not be able to see something that he has. It is interesting that your personality can hinder certain stuff that you have that you're unable to. It is interesting because in the 40 years that he's working in the backside of the desert, he has developed a personality that he does not even realize what God has placed in his hand. He does not even realize the tools that God has given him so that he is able to find destiny. And the reason why he does not realize this is because of what he believes. Our personality is based off of our memory. Now, this is interesting because I want to talk to you about this. He can only see it as a rod because on the basis of his memory of what life was to him. Therefore, because he saw everything as rejection, the very thing that God gave him as a blessing, he was about to reject. Prophet, what do you mean? I'm going to show you further. Go ahead, Prophet. Go ahead, Frankie. I want you to read it, Frank. Go to Exodus chapter 4, verse 2. Start at verse 2. Go ahead, Frank. What does it say there?
I got to get that, prophet. I apologize.
And the Lord said unto him, what is in thine hand? And he said, a rod. And he said, cast it on the ground. And he cast it on the ground, and it became a serpent, and Moses fled from before it. He ran from something that he had. He rejected something. He is doing the same rejection that he's experienced his whole entire life, the same rejection that takes place with his mother, the same rejection that takes place with the Egypt, the same rejection that takes place with the Hebrews, the same rejection that he's experienced. Now he's rejecting something that God has for him to work for him, but he's about to reject it. The reason why he's rejecting it because of his personal experience. His personal experience that has begun to cause a type of circuitry to begin to be wired in the brain that has created a personal reality. Now, it's interesting because when we talk about this and when we begin to really learn this and when we begin to see this, we are seeing a personality trait that is limiting his reality. That many times you just saying that you're just being you is really the issue that is stopping you. It is not so much what they're doing to you. It is not so much about what's happening to you, because there's people that have been in worse situations that have been able to bypass that. But we must be able to realize what's happening here. Moses is about to take a quantum leap. I want us to understand this because when we talk about major changes and we talk about miracles and we talk about God really beginning to move, we are talking about quantum leaps where changes begin to take place, where people are able to see that there is a miracle that takes place. Something that was is now being changed. He is about to take a quantum leap into purpose. He's about to take a quantum leap into destiny. For years, he thought he was a mistake. For years, he thought he was unwanted. For years, he thought that there was nothing more. For years, he thought that your mama didn't love you. For years, you might have thought that you were never supposed to meet your father. For years, you didn't know why you had to be adopted. For years, you didn't know why you never met the child. For years, you don't know why and what would have happened and what could have came from it. You didn't know why your mother was on this. You didn't know why you came out of the family you came. You don't know why your uncle treated you like that. You don't know why you were touched inappropriately. You don't know why you were abused the way you were abused. For years, he's going through this. Walking through life, and he's not understanding why without a rhyme or time. He's not understanding it, and God is now coming to him, and he's about to get his moment of change. But in his moment of change, we see that personality trait that is limiting his reality. Now, here's the key here. We cannot change our reality until we change our personal reality. This is very interesting because your reality changes when your personality changes. The Moses that you see running from the snake is not going to be the same Moses in the next couple of chapters when he begins to come to Pharaoh. The Moses that you, I need to know if they want me to go on. I need to know if they want me to go on. I better quit preaching this stuff. I need to know if they want me to go on. There are people right now, and maybe I'm saying this because there's someone right now that's about to get a change like that. There's someone right now that this is going to be your year of the ship. This is the year when it's about to change. This is a year when it comes all to a halt. This is the year where you're about to reclaim your power, the stuff that your family stripped you from, the stuff that people took you from. I don't know who needs to hear that, but there were some folks that stripped you. They stripped you from your position. They stripped you from that. God says, this is your year. This is your year. Now, the Moses that is there, that is running from the snake, the Moses that has this personality of fear.